Hi everybody, and welcome to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. On this video we have a post from Am I the A-hole with an update and one from Malicious Compliance. So if you want to get started with the stories, then just use the timestamps below the video. Now I'd like to thank all of you that support me and my videos. It means a lot to me that you do, so thank you so much and I hope you keep enjoying the content. And if this is the first time watching one of my videos and you like it, then consider subscribing to the channel and joining us on Discord. Now let's get started with today's stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and is from user throwaway0982726. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom that she's the cause of all my brother's problems? I, 33 female, have a sister, 30 female, and a little brother, 17 male. My mom, single mother, our parents divorced while she was pregnant with my brother, was a wonderful mother to both me and my sister. However, she switched up incredibly while raising my brother, so much to the point that I offered to raise my brother instead. So, my brother, who is now a junior in high school, has self-esteem issues, especially related to how he looks and weighs. He was a chubby baby and my mom used to say negative things to him all the time, which I guess kind of ruined his self-esteem. My sister and I always called him cute and handsome, etc., but obviously our mother's words had a bigger effect on him. To put it in perspective for you guys, he is 6 feet 1 inches tall, 1.85 m for those of us who use the metric system. Underweight, objectively a good-looking kid, yet still finds himself ugly and or fat. I, a 5 foot 8 inch woman, 1.72 m, weigh more than him and am at a healthy weight. Anyways, despite everything, he's still a cheerful and talkative kid who really does love our mother, and this makes me 10 times angrier. Now, onto the problem. I made a mess in the kitchen yesterday while doing a little baking and accidentally fell asleep on the couch due to exhaustion and forgot to clean up. My mom saw the mess and started screaming at my brother, and my brother said that he'd clean it up and that he was sorry. He basically admitted to doing something he didn't do, and when I found out, I immediately told my mom it was my fault, but she said that it was fine. I asked her to apologize to him, but she said that he was a man and that she doesn't need to. I got mad and told her that if she kept this up, her son will end up doing something drastic. She said that she wasn't doing anything, and I said something along the lines of, "Seriously? You're literally the cause of all of his problems." I also called her a terrible mother. She got mad. She said, "I didn't go through all this crap for my own daughter to take a boy's side over her own mother's." She made a lot of gender-based comments like, "You're a girl, you should take my side," and "He's a boy, he deserves it," etc. Then she went to her room and slept. Honestly, I'm just confused now. Also, while I don't regret standing up for my brother, I feel like maybe I shouldn't have blamed her for all of his issues since it's a pretty big accusation and she's obviously hurt. I'm thinking I should have been more mature. Plus, she wasn't a bad mother to me or my sister, so maybe that wasn't called for too? But yeah, am I the a-hole for blaming my mother for all of my brother's problems? OP, you are not the a-hole, definitely not for standing up for your brother to defend him from your crappy mom. I would encourage you to go further and really help your brother out. I don't know why your mom clearly hates your brother, but there's something going on there. Maybe it's the fact that she got a divorce from your dad while she was pregnant with him and that had to do something with it. I don't know. What I do know from what you tell us is that she's been abusing your brother since he was born. She didn't kind of mess with his self-esteem, she absolutely destroyed it. Imagine how bad the situation is that your brother took the blame for something he didn't do and kept apologizing for it. And when you stood up to say it was you, she brushed it off and kept blaming him and saying he deserves it because he's a boy. That's totally messed up, and not just because of the blatant misandry your mom has been displaying, but also because it's targeted against her own son. In my opinion, a parent should build up their kids' confidence, not make them entitled douches like a Karen would, but help them believe in themselves and love themselves. Something your mom is refusing to do, so she is clearly the a-hole in this whole situation. What do you guys think? What is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see their judgment. Anota Cocktail says, she sounds misandrist as F. Does he happen to look like his father? Not the a-hole at all. I would talk with your bro and try to be his shoulder. Your mom is completely effing him up, and it may be too late to undo all her damage. And OP responds, we're actually mixed. Our dad is East Asian, mom is white. And he looks more Asian than my sister and I, so yeah, he does look more like our dad in a way. The fact that it might be too late, that's what I'm terrified about. Sad face. I'll still try and be his shoulder though, thanks. Hanging Out With You says, not the a-hole. Wow, that is some abuse there to your brother. Your mom has really bad toxic sexter anger issues, and if it is in regard to your father, then it is quite messed up that she is taking it out on your brother, who is his own person. He is not her former partner, he is her child. I am sorry, but she is abusive and punishing him for his gender. Abuse, no excuse, plain and simple. So yeah, based on the information presented, she is a bad mother and the cause of his low self-esteem. Yippee Coyote says, wow, you're not the a-hole, but your mom sure is. Boys need to be loved and nurtured too. It breaks my heart to hear that she thinks he doesn't deserve an apology just because he's a man, he's still a child. She's an adult, she should know better, and your brother deserves an apology. It's great that you're standing up for him. He needs a good support system. And there you have it. The community is clearly backing OP in that she is not the a-hole and actually did a good thing for standing up for her brother against that abusive, crappy mother she has. Not crappy to OP apparently, but definitely crappy to the brother. Anyways, we have an update from OP, so let's continue with that to see what happened next. So, nobody really asked for an update, but I'm a bit bored and thought, why not? First off, I'd like to say that after reading your replies, I think the reason my mom is horrible towards my brother is a mix of him looking like my dad and him being a boy, but I don't know for sure. Now for the update. A bit after I made the post, I went to talk to my brother, who was in his room. He was fine, but when I asked him to tell me how he felt about, well, everything, he broke down. My heart broke into a million pieces. At that moment, I knew that he couldn't stay with our mother anymore. So, I called my boyfriend of 5 years and asked him if my brother and I could move in for a bit. He has space and my brother gets along with him, so he agreed. My mom didn't give me crap. She didn't even say goodbye to him. She asked me if I could stay, but completely ignored my brother's presence. I tried my hardest to stay calm and not shout at her for it, but the way she was acting was so mean. According to my sister, my mother still makes mean comments about my brother even though he's not there, so staying calm is really hard right now. Anyways, I called my dad as well and basically told him everything. He was a bit angry at first because nobody told him this before and he wouldn't have left any of us in a different country had he known. But he calmed down and talked to my brother for like an hour, and by the time he hung up, my brother had tears of joy and relief in his eyes. It's still unclear whether my dad will be visiting or if my brother will be moving or how we're going to proceed from now on due to you know what, but I can assure you that my mother won't be able to say anything to my brother again. Unfortunately, I am unable to put my brother into therapy because I don't have a lot of money on me, but I will try and talk to one of my friends who is pretty knowledgeable in the mental health department and see if I can help my brother. Thanks to everyone who gave their 2 cents. Smiley face. Well, OP, first of all, it's awesome that you're helping out your brother this way. You removed him from a toxic environment that's clearly not doing anything good for him. It's also great that you got your dad involved. Hopefully he'll be able to do something to help your brother out. Maybe therapy since you can't do it, because your brother clearly is going to need help to get over what his mom has done to him. All in all, regarding how crappy this whole situation is, I would say this is a happy update because it clearly sets your brother on a proper path. And hopefully it'll all turn out right. So now we move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user SD Beer Guy. I can't drive anywhere without permission? Okay, I'll follow that rule maliciously. This happened when I was 16 years old and just got my driver's license. My parents had me run to the store to pick up some groceries. I stopped by my friend's house on the way back home for maybe 5 minutes to show him I got my license and I was out driving alone. It was a really fun moment in the life of a 16-year-old. My stepmom, Mary Ann, freaked out.
"We did not give you permission to drive to Bill's house. We told you to go to the store and that's all."
I told Mary Ann and my dad that they had let me drive to Matt's house the day before, so I didn't think it was a big deal. They went unreasonable and laid down the unbendable rule that set up the malicious compliance. You are not allowed to drive anywhere we do not give you explicit permission for you to drive. Period. End of sentence. Just because you were allowed to do it previously does not ever give you permission another time. Ever. Fast forward 3 days later. My 13-year-old stepsister has been a jerk to me all day, and I'm sick of her BS. She goes quiet for about 30 minutes and then comes all sticky sweet.
"Hey Brian, it's time to take me to ballet."
I have taken her to ballet 3 days a week since I got my license. It's basically one of my chores, but I see my opportunity to say, screw you, to all 3 of them at once. Sorry, Tina, I'm not allowed to take you to ballet. The parents didn't tell me to take you, and I don't want to get in trouble. She screams, she cries, she begs, she threatens. She calls her mom and leaves a message. She calls my dad and leaves a message. Just like Steve Miller says, time keeps on slipping into the future. That's a quote from Fly Like an Eagle, which is a great song. I'm not sure I'm brave enough to hang on to the bitter end and actually go through with it. I'm shaking, but I know I've got them dead to rights. No call back from the parents, and the clock goes on past the start of her class. Stepmom comes home and Tina runs to meet her.
"Tina, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be at ballet."
I hear Tina tell her rendition of the story, leaving out how miserable she had been, and they go back and forth. Mary Ann comes pounding down the hall and yells,
"As God as my witness, you just wait till your father gets home."
I had to stifle a laugh because I never really believed people actually said that. An hour later, Dad comes home and the 2 of them go running out to meet him and tell him how horrible I was. I wait in my room for the hammer to fall. About 10 minutes later, my dad calls down the hall. "Brian, would you please come here and talk to us?" "Well, Brian, you did it." "What do you mean, Dad?" "You got us all, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about it." "Okay, let's make this reasonable for everyone." And they did. They agreed that they were over the top. They recognized that Tina isn't always very nice to me, and they spoke to her about that. I was allowed to have reasonable freedom if I was driving somewhere, since I had good grades and had never been in trouble. I walked down the hall back to my room, my back to my parents, with the world's biggest grin on my face. Fantastic, OP, and thanks so much for sharing this story. It was a great example of non-physical judo. I have to say that I pictured you walking down the hall like Bender does at the end of The Breakfast Club. What a great movie. All that was missing was the raising of the fist. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I certainly did reading them to you. So if you did, then go ahead and give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a member of our Discord community that just keeps growing, and it is fantastic. And like I said in the beginning of the video, all of the relevant links are in the video description below, so be sure to check them out. And finally, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys enjoy this content, so thank you once again. And having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.